Hey everybody, and hello, welcome to the first episode of Fantasy Live. Well, not live, but fantasy. So let's start off with the first segment I like to call for last night's game with the Texans and the Chiefs. Good job if you started, and good job if you don't started. So let's start off with the don't start. But you should have started. Let's start with Mecole Hardman. He was supposed to do well. He's supposed to get projected to. He was supposed to be one of the good there and projected to get. Let me see. But he did not. He was projected to get 13 points. Only 13.63 points in Yahoo Fantasy. Projected to get 13.63 points in Yahoo. He only got 1.85. That's with most of his punt returns were fair catches, and one was an actual return. He got one hand up, which got him 0.5 points, and he got 1 point for his punt return. So that was a good choice if you started him, but that just didn't work out. But good choice if you did start him. Start him again next week if you want to, but since this week it might not work, but you might want to start him again next week. He might play better. It's just that he did a lot of fair catches. So we're going to go to Tyreek Hill now. He was a yes to start. He was double covered the whole game. Almost triple covered in part of the game. He was triple covered. But he had one catch in the first half, and he had a couple catches in the second half. He had a catching touchdown in the fourth quarter, which got them up the lead. So that gave him 16. He has 16 points. A good start. 15 points. He was projected to get 16 points. Good job if you started him. Start him again next week. He's a start for next week. So those are two starts from next week. Obviously, not a surprise here. Patrick Mahomes was for sure start next week. You should definitely start Patrick Mahomes next week. Look at the points in a second. Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson was projected to get 23 points. The Texans did not do very well. It's like a preseason game for them, so they didn't do very well. He got 18 fantasy points in ESPN. He got 18. I'm looking at the ESPN league. Mecole Hardman, another. He did well. He had 18 points. So he was projected to 23. It was kind of like their preseason game for them. But the Patrick Mahomes in ESPN league. I'm going to look at Yahoo here in a second until you hear. He had 26. He was projected to get 26, and he got 25. So that's pretty good. Starting next week, he's definitely a starting quarterback. You start him every week unless he's injured or something. Put in your backup. Always start him. He's always good. For Yahoo, he had. Okay. Yahoo had 31.55 points. He's projected to get 45.89 points. He's at 99% started. He should 99% start. So those are all the. And then the rookie. Now let's go on to the running backs part from yesterday night. So we should go to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I didn't draft him in my fantasy league because I didn't think he was gonna. I didn't usually do a draft rookie, but he was averaging 6 yards per carry with projected points 14. He got 20, so he was doing really well there. So he was doing well, and then in ESPN, in fantasy he had 37 points, and then Yahoo he had 37 points, and then David Johnson. So I also didn't get David Johnson because he got 20 rushing touchdowns in the last year, but he only had 16 the past 3 years. So it's not very good. But he did have pretty good this year. He got 25 fantasy points in Yahoo Fantasy. So that would be good. So those are all the main players. And then Duke Johnson. I think he's a bench running back, like a late down, farther down bench running back. So let's just. And that's it for last night. And let's just stay on the topic of running backs. So I actually have, for my running back, I have my last two running backs on the bench. These are two just backup running backs. They're both for the Rams. Dale Henderson on Sunday night, 5:20 against the Cowboys open of SoFi Stadium. He's projected to get 3 points. And Cam Akers, who's projected to get 10 points. But Darrell Henderson projected at 9 in Yahoo Fantasy. This is ESPN, the one I'm checking out right now. So I would use him for a backup. If I had to pick, I would go Cam Akers because he's the better running back than Darrell Henderson. I would pick him, but if you really didn't want another one, go Darrell Henderson Jr. So, now tight ends. Let's stay on running back here. Melvin Gordon's a good backup running back. He's like a solid backup running back with the Broncos this year. And I think he would do good. He's projected to get 12 points on Sunday if you're backup if one of your running backs is injured. Oh, now I just got the news that Mike Evans is out with a hamstring injury for week 1. He's not playing. So I didn't start him. I switched out from Cole Hardman, So Kyler Murray is a good quarterback. If Kyler Murray is a good quarterback that I snagged him late rounds, you can do that, but don't start him this week. He's an absolute no start against the 49ers defense. Just don't start him. No, period. Don't start Kyler Murray, okay? You listen? Don't start him. And then, Jarvis Landry is another good backup quarterback. He's supposed to get 13 points this week. And John Brown, who's another backup wide receiver, is supposed to get 11. And Hunter Henry's my back. So there we go. Now let's go on topic of quarterbacks. So as I say, Kyler Murray's a no start this week. I'm going to start and no start. Mike Evans is a no start. He's injured out with a hamstring injury for 1 week. Carson Wentz is a start. He's projected to get 20 points against the Washington football team. It's very good because they don't have the best defense. They're added some new people this year from the draft. But yes, Carson Wentz is a start. So Patrick Mahomes, a definite start. Deshaun Watson, a definite start. Phillip Rivers is probably, you could start him. Aaron Rodgers, if he's start. Josh Allen, start. All these people are starts. All the main quarterbacks are starts. So you should definitely start those. On the topic of I did the backup running backs and people. Now, if you want to looking for a number 1 running back, it's obviously Christian McCaffrey. Go Christian McCaffrey, Nick Chubb. They're all very good running backs. Saquon Barkley, Ezekiel Elliott. Those are all definite starts. But only don't start them if they're playing like the 49ers or something. Like, only don't start them if they're playing a really good team. So, now, we're going to look at some other players. So, this is, some teams, if you want to get like a star team, just usually, Dak Prescott, you could get for a number 1 quarterback, projected to get 21 points, week 1 against the Rams. Alvin Kamara is projected to get 19. He's a start. Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler's a tricky one because he may not be our best running back, but he's an okay running back. So he can maybe be a flex. He could be a flex player, but he is definitely a start unless he's injured or they have a bye. Do not start him. He's a start, but don't have him as your number 1 running back. You shouldn't drop him. Rob Gronkowski. He's okay. You might want to have as your flex or bench tight end if you have a flex. He's good. I think that he might not do as well as he's done in the past because he's older and he's coming out of retirement. So he's I put him. You might not want to have him as your number 1 tight end, but you probably have as your flex or your bench tight end. And then Tariq Cohen. He's another good one. Tariq Cohen you should start because I think he's a number 1 starting running back. He's not a flex. He's a number 1 running back. Okay, so good. Now let's go on to the top players in the top players. So let me check out top players. I'm looking at This is the ESPN. So the players probably, let's get off that segment, but if you really want to start a player, and they're not really that good, don't pick, just suggestion for next year's draft, don't pick players you like. Pick players that are best off the board. Let's go into the best tight ends now. I think Mark Andrews. He's a little known tight end, but he's probably one of the best tight ends in the league. A lot of people know him. He's for the Ravens. Tight end, great tight end, had an outstanding year. And then him and Tyler Higbee. Tyler Higbee is a definite start. He has a breakout year last year for the Rams. He is really good. Jared Goff, dump it off, run it, tight end, just throw it up, get it. He's like Mark Andrews and Tyler Higbee are two definite starts. Because if you can't get if you don't have George Kittle or Travis Kelce, that's okay. You don't need them. It's good if you have at least Mark Andrews or Tyler Higbee. I have Mark Andrews on my team. I do not have Tyler Higbee. But yeah, I don't have George Kittle or Travis Kelce. But that's okay. All you need, those are the top 4 tight ends. Those are my top 4 tight ends in the league. Also, yeah. And Hunter Henry's another good one. Always don't. So now, if you want to really, I have some people in my league who drafted a backup defense. Maybe don't do that, but you might want to do it. But yeah. So I haven't talked a lot about Lamar Jackson because there's not much to talk about him. He's projected to get 24 points. He's projected to do really well. But I say you should draft him, but draft him definitely. But he'll get you a lot of running yards, not as many passing yards as Patrick Mahomes. If you need rushing yards and you're in a rushing league, if you're not in a PPR league, definitely pick him with their first pick. If you're in a PPR league, definitely don't pick him with the number 1 picker. You should actually pick him with your pick, but only if it's in a PPR league, pick him, but not the number 1 pick. It depends on how you want to do it, but he's okay. So Sonny Michel. Sonny Michel will do okay. He's a player who's going to play well. With Cam Newton I don't know how they're going to do it this year. Going to wait till Sunday and see. I would start him on Sunday. Maybe not, because you want to see if they're doing the same if Bill Belichick is going to do the same offense as last year, which I'm guessing is, with like a Tom Brady passing offense, or will he change it up into a Cam Newton running offense? Because if it's a Cam Newton running back, definitely start Sonny Michel, because he will be their Patriots' number 1 running back. You want to have them in there, because if they're doing running with Cam Newton, that's why I'm still wondering. So maybe don't start him week 1, but you could. DK Metcalf had a rookie last year, really good. He's a tall wide receiver, so he can really get some good passes. I think he'll do well this year and the other years. I think he'll make the Pro Bowl this year. I would say start him. Only don't start him maybe don't start him when they're playing the 49ers, or maybe do. It depends on what he's projected to get. But this week, he's projected to get 13 points. And Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram is projected to only get 10 points. I would definitely pick him. And definitely start him. No matter what this thing says. Okay, and Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert is pretty good. He had a breakout year last year. I would pick him to be like your flex. Good flex. So, yeah. That's it. Those are your week 1 starters. Start those players, you'll crush your fantasy league. You might not have all of them, but if you start at least a couple of those, or at least 2, you'll do good in your fantasy league. So long. See you next time.